Hello Pioneers, in the last episode of our MEGAFACTORY build series, we built an iron smelting tower with an elevated steel production facility, pushing the boundaries of architectural design. In this episode, we break new ground by expanding westward to bring raw quartz into our base. We modify our rail hub for westbound trains and construct twin towers for silica and quartz crystal production. How will this expansion fit into our growing factory? Let's find out. Basic Town has come quite far. We're processing most of the most basic materials like copper, iron, steel and all that. Our next basic material, we have a little bit of room over here to sort of complete off this side of the factory. So we can probably process quartz next. We need silica, we need quartz crystals for quite a lot of things. So we can probably utilize one of these stations over here to do that. I'm just thinking, should we just continue along? Probably. So we can take this station and we can direct it over there. It's pretty close anyway. So we'll take this next station in the chain and we'll get that doing quartz. We'll call that station raw quartz and then we will go out and find some and hook that up and we will set up the raw quartz processing. Doesn't look like there's any raw quartz in my immediate vicinity, so I'm gonna have to go a little bit further to hunt it. There's a pile over there. Finally something on the other side and more up there. These are all impure though. The pure raw quartz is down south. We'll definitely want to go for the pure source first. It's not super far, but it is over this side. Which is fine. We will eventually extend our tracks this way. Let's just go have a quick gander at whereabouts it is. Yeah, it's not like super far. There's also uranium down there. Is it in this cave? It says it's 200 meters away. Is it like underground? Where is this raw quartz? Is it like very underground? Oh man. It's like very underground inside here, isn't it? Alright, it's in this waterfall, but that's fine. We can figure out a way to get it out. It'll just be a little bit janky to get through here. Yep, that's fine. We can figure out a way out of there, but it's basically in a north-south cardinal direction from the base, which means we kind of need to get a north-south belt going, or do we need that? Or should we just do the north-south and make it easy? We definitely need a north-south belt going, right? Because if we need to access resources like directly above or south of us, well, definitely directly north of us, because there's no resources south of us that's not being claimed by our base. But eventually we're going to need a north-south, which means we need to develop out our station and our train tracks such that a train can go north-south, and we've already used up that side of the factory, so our north-south train line is going to have to go along here somewhere. So let's start figuring that out. It's not going to be very easy to do, but we'll have to make those modifications to the train station to make it function accordingly as we expand our base. So let's figure out how we can do that. Now, obviously we need a line that goes north-south and a line that keeps going out this way. So maybe we should start by extending our tracks out this way first, and then maybe it'll come to us what we need to do next. I have no idea how to do this, so we'll figure it out together. So this is my blank track railway thing. I'm just going to copy what I did on the other side. That way we can be consistent of where the blank tracks actually start from the station. Is it like immediate? I believe it's immediately out of the door of the station. Yeah, it's literally on the tile where it exits the station area, so we'll do the same thing on this side. Although, no, because we need some space on this side to do the turns and stuff. Okay, that's fine. We can always delete the side bits. So I don't mind just doing this. Now we can go into blueprint mode and we can extend this track. And there's our first actual track part. Alright, from here we can just extend the rails this way. And that should make all the signals work and everything is happy, but we need to figure out now how things are going to actually move. So this is the track that goes out into the world. It's a little bit opposite from the other side, which is fine. So from here, we need to be able to extend the track down here. How much space do we need? At least 2 tiles of space for space. And then we need track that goes this way. So I mean, there's no harm giving more space, but I'm thinking maybe we'll just cut this one. That gives 3 tiles of space for turns. And then let's go up north first, because that's the harder part, right? So we build some extra empty track here, like say on the side of here, like this, and that should be enough room to turn so we can start laying down our proper track, say from here. Okay, I'm already out of crystal quartz, so I'm gonna have to go back and get some. Alright, now we're back with crystal quartz. I can lay down the rest of this track and figure out how these turns are gonna work. So this is my inbound rail. We don't really care about that. What we want it to do is for trains that want to go out north-south, they would go this way, right? So each of my train tracks can go left and right. So if they want to go north-south, they would come out this way. And this is the track that needs to be able to go north-south. So it'll be something like this from about here, and then it'll go into here. Right? And then when they come back, it would come back like this, except it'd be like maybe from here to here. So that's our ability to go north-south, but obviously we need it to continue. So I'm going to start deleting some of this stuff. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comments section. 1, 2, 3. We'll probably get it to turn a little bit better, like that. Okay, so that's the north-south part. Then over here, we probably want it to do something similar, at least up to here. And then we can add extra track this way. That way they turn at the same spot, which is fine. Now, we need it to continue up this way too. So this is going to be a very complex intersection. The only thing is the intersection doesn't need to be able to go this way, because whatever train is coming home from north-south doesn't need to then turn out that way. They only need to go into the central station, right? All right, that's fine. Now, the reason why I did this half first is if we think about it, we don't want trains returning home from north-south to go into here, right? Because say you're coming back from wherever over there and you come in here, to get to one of these stations or wherever you're trying to go, you have to go all the way to this side, do a loop-de-loop, and then come all the way back. So we probably need to fix the back side of our train station so that it can actually just directly go into here. Which is easier said than done, which means we might need to like delete out this wall for a train to directly just go in here. I don't want it to go back into here to get in here either. I just want it to be able to access the back of the train station immediately. So let's see what that might look like without shifting the back wall. We'll just have to like manually do a track. So let's just start it from here, say, and let's just do a track out this way. Well, if we're gonna commit to this, we probably need to knock out this back wall one way or another. So I'm just gonna do this. We can always rebuild this wall if we don't want to do this, if we change our minds, but that's fine. Let's just knock out this back wall. And then we can redo a back wall that makes sense, given there's a new entrance to the station. So the most we can do is probably this line over here. So I'm just going to put a temporary track here to maybe here. And then we'll just draw a track in here. So our first bit of track will have to go into here. Why doesn't it like that? Ah, I see. We can't double this track up without adding an extra bit. Let me just try to see if I can make this modification. So the shortest amount of track I can make is that. And then from here, then we can't do this anymore. All right, that's going to be an issue. That means we need to modify the entire track and this entire back wall. Oh God, that's going to be such a big job. All right, well, alternative plan would be doing a separate track out the back here. If we do a second track out the back here, we can at least get it to go in here, and it's like slightly less effort. Oh, that's terrible though. I have to think about this one. What is the best way to do this without knocking out the back wall? It would be to take out an entire station, an entire freight platform off the end of each of these. That's the only way I can do it without modifying the station. Let's just try that modification with one, because I mean, do we need 8 of every single freight platform? I don't, probably not, right? So if we were to take one freight platform out of each station, and then we do this modification, that would pretty much keep the same thing here, and then allow us to bring that in. Well, it says it turns too sharply, but were I to put one like here, to say here, okay, that's still too sharp, like that. That would be possible. And then that can be a return rail in from the other side. And that would allow trains to intercept a lot less. Like functionality wise, this would be a lot better. It's just from a practical implementation perspective, it's a little bit annoying to do. But that's fine. I'm going to implement the return rails for all of these trains. Alright, so the extension went okay. We just doing these back 5 for now because I don't think, well, eventually we might need to extend to the rest because these are all our basic materials coming from that side. But I guess one day if we have like iron coming from this side, yes, we will need to extend this pattern all the way to the end for all 10 stations. But I think it's a worthwhile extension just to stop the train intersection. Otherwise, all our trains need to come in from that corner, which we probably don't want it to do. But this is fine. So we can now, trains can now come in from here. So whether they're coming down from north, south, or from this rail, they should be able to now come down along here and into this rail for an easy access back to their station. So we need to join this section now. So I'm going to continue extending my blueprint this way. So add some more empty track here. And maybe we will do our full track here. And maybe that'll be enough room to turn. Maybe not. It'll be pretty tight. We'll see. Now I've got to figure out which one of these two things is actually the turning station. So say this is the exit. So they're going to come in from here. And when they come in from here, they will never need to go straight that way, right? They can if they want to, but I don't think they will ever need to. As with this rail as well. Yeah, so some of these tracks just won't be used. So for example, this track will never be used, right? We don't actually need this track over here. We can just directly extend out that way. Because a train coming in this way should never need to go back this way. So let's just decomplicate our rails or uncomplicate our rails. Because if it's coming out from this direction, a train should just definitely just directly turn into here, right? As with this rail, a train should never need to come out here. So this is only an inbound rail. So that way it'll make it less complicated. So let's add in some tracks this way to signify that. So we don't need a full like roundabout intersection. We just need it to roughly be correct. So here's the inbound for this train, right? And this is the inbound rail. So now the inbound rail can go here and here. So we'll put a block here. And this is the outbound rail, so we also need a block here. Probably get rid of these two signals for now. And that should be fine. So when it's coming from the north, for example, we only need it to go here because coming from the north, it never needs to go this way, right? In fact, we can probably get rid of this entire rail. Yeah, well, we probably needed a guiding rail at some point. But when it comes out this way, that's when it needs to go to the north track and then go all the way up. And then when it comes back from the south, it needs to go all the way down here and in here. So this also needs a track, the track's ability to go from here into here. But also when trains come south, it does need to be able to go straight. Cool. So that's what this section looks like. And we'll just divide that section out like that. And I believe that that should be fine. Okay, so that's the south side rail done. Now we've got to do the north side rail. And then we can seal this up. The north side rail is a little bit more complicated. Let me start deleting some of these roads so we can sketch that in. So we'll start with some empty track as usual. So I keep calling this the north side. This is actually the south side. Is that lined up? I don't think that's lined up properly, is it? I think that is the alignment. Let's shift it out and that should be correct. Now let's get rid of this so we don't confuse ourselves. Now I'll add a bit of track here. There we go. All right, let's envision what a train going north might look like, right? So say whatever this train is, it comes out this way, and then from here, it wants to go north. So this way it goes south, but it potentially might want to go up north. And to go north, it's this direction. So we needed to give it something that, well, we'll join it from this side. So probably around here, and then to there. So from here, it needs to pick a direction. And it can either go straight, it can go south, or it can go north. Either way, we need to turn this into a rail block because trains coming back from this side. Now, we can unconfuse this part because a train coming home from this direction never needs to go into here. So we can probably cut out this section of railway like that. And we can get this one to just directly come in and connect to this railway because it's wanting to go that way, right? And that should be too tight. Nope, it's actually okay. That should confuse it a lot less. It's a weird looking roundabout, but I swear to you, this is how it goes. But this is still an intersection, so we do need to properly block it out. Wait, this is the wrong way. This is going out this way. And this is going out here, so we'll cut it off there. And then that is the intersection. It's a really, really weird looking intersection, but given the way I've set up the station, this is how it is. Okay, so now this is the last thing that we got to figure out is this return rail. So this is the rail that is going out. So a train can come out like this, and then it can go out like this, which is fine. But then when it comes back, it also needs to go straight. So here needs to have a straight path all the way here. Which means at some point, so we'll get it to go to the end here. And then at some point, it needs to go into here. And then we need another block here. Yeah, and that is the full intersection, because then the straight train can go here, and then it can go here, and then it can return into there. I believe that works. It's a little bit messy, but it should be fine. It's almost a full intersection, but not quite. And now we have rails that can go north, south, and east, west. And it has a simple return track back. Cool. I think we'll leave it there for here to see if it works. I'm pretty sure it will. So now we need to figure out the doorway to this. We won't do anything super complicated. So this frame doesn't need to exist. Or do we still want to do it with the turn? It doesn't really make sense with the turn, does it? All right. Let me edit this doorway real quick and then I'll come back and talk about it. Nothing super complicated here. I just cleaned up the angles over here to link it and make sure everything links up nicely and everything kind of just worked out. It's a little bit diagonal in the entranceway, but that's fine. I added some billboards for lighting and that looks fine. And most importantly, I think it's functional. Let's get rid of this. And I think everything should work out nicely doing this. I don't know. We're going to have to put in a train to test it at some point, and we've got a good train to test, which is our quartz train. So we're going to run our quartz line all the way out this way for now and see where we get from here. So our quartz is over here. Let me just put a marker in so I know where to stop. So it's over there. We'll drop a marker here so we know where to turn the rail out. We'll highlight it so that we can see it. So it's over there. Now it's diagonal, right? So we do need to turn the rail south anyway. But again, these north-south rails aren't for use right now. They're for like future in case we need to get materials from there or materials from there. But this one, we're going to have to go out this way and then we're going to have to turn it anyway. So let's just keep going out that way until we get to there. All right, we've made it all the way from our base now. So we've made the turn over towards the light beam. So we're going to keep going now this way. And when we get to the light, we're going to set up our quartz mine and bring back our quartz. All right, we are done with our raw quartz mine. I've drawn what I think is probably one of the cleanest things I can get to this cave. We've got 2 raw quartz miners at 1200 per minute, fully overclocked. So we've got 2 belts of raw quartz to play with. They're going up here and all the way up and over here and into here. So the path is a little bit janky, but given the fact that it's backwards behind the waterfall, I mean, come on. How else am I meant to get this thing out here, right? And then it goes up and all the way up, and it does its double buffering over here, and then it goes into our new station, which I will now rename Raw Quartz 1. And I think we're pretty much ready. So the train tracks look like this at the moment. So we don't have anything to go to the end at the moment. So I'm just leaving it like this because this is the only station this far out. But eventually we'll clean all this up with the right signaling and whatnot. But for now, this will do. It's so far away from the base, I don't really care about it too much. I'm sure one day our base is going to extend all the way out here, so we will need to clean up these stations, but that's a future data engineer problem, and not my problem right now, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. What I'm going to worry about is putting down this train and praying that it works. So we're going to do 1 electric locomotive, and we're going to do 2 freight cars. Then these are set to load, which is fine. It's already got some raw quartz in there, which is fantastic. So we just need to set its timetable, and we'll call this the raw quartz train 1. Edit its timetable, and it's going to go to raw quartz 1, turn on the self-driving, and it should be able to go to the raw quartz station, no problem. Then we'll edit the timetable, and then we'll send it back to raw quartz back at home, which is this station. And we'll save those changes, and hopefully once it loads its stuff, then we can have a look at whether it can make it using our brand new tracks to the raw quartz platform without going the hard way. Whether it's smart enough to do that, actually no, I've set the tracks such that it's not possible for it to get to the other side without using the new tracks we've built, because we've deleted the tracks that allow it to go that other direction. There it goes. We'll just ride the train back. Make sure all our rails work. Here we go, we're approaching our base now. Let's see if it makes all the right turns. I don't see why it wouldn't. There we go, it turned in here. And there it goes in here, and it should go into the raw quartz station. And perfect. Now I gotta quickly jump out here and set this to unload, so that we get some raw quartz. And there we go. It is now unloading the raw quartz, and we have another material secured in our central rail hub. Fantastic. Now we can work on processing all that raw quartz into silica and quartz crystals. And since we have 2 belts, I guess one will become silica and one will become raw quartz. And they're going to be 2 twin tower buildings, I guess. And we're going to set that up. They're both constructors, unless there is a better recipe. Let's just check that. So we do have different silica recipes. These are all different things. Distilled silica, I guess, produces just way more silica. And there is actually one recipe that I'm missing. But I think given the complexity of these, like, why do we want to use our limestone? And this is not even, this is using some weird dissolved silica solution. So that's not even a thing. And raw quartz is what? We can make in a converter. No, wait, sorry, that's making raw quartz. We want quartz crystal, which we can make a lot more if we add water in a refinery. But do we need that many quartz crystal? I don't think so. Don't think quartz crystal is ever a problem. The original quartz recipe is a 5-to-3 conversion. So we pretty much have like 3/5 of a Mark 6 belt using the basic raw quartz recipe. This one is still not a full Mark 6 belt. It's 9-to-7 with the addition of water. So I don't really think it's worth it. This one is 25-to-18. This one is 24-to-15. Although this one also gives you dissolved silica. So then we can make more silica out of this. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be necessary. So I think for now, I'm just going to go with the 2 basic recipes and just do it in constructors to not overcomplicate our lives. So I guess this one, if you add nitric acid, you can turn the quartz into raw quartz and then have dissolved silica, which then you can turn into more silica with the addition of limestone. But that process is so overcomplicated that I'm not even sure it's worth it. So we're just going to go with the 2 constructor recipes and not overcomplicate our lives. Now, before we can start erecting buildings, we got to define our building area. So let's build out our north-south rail a bit more, at least past that intersection over there. So we'll grab our empty tracks and we'll layer some this way. We'll need a few more empty tracks to get out to the other side. Now for cleanliness, I'm just going to chop all these trees on my tracks so we can see everything clearly. Our factory is expanding at breakneck speed. Sorry, nature. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to make way for progress. You can exist. I mean, you're clipping into the side a bit, but hey, a little bit of nature is not too bad. We need clean oxygen on our planet, so we don't want to chop every single tree. We'll probably need to chop every single tree here though. Let me put down our road now. Now, I haven't figured out a clever way to end the road at the tracks yet. Maybe we can go underneath or something cool like that. Maybe make a tunnel. I don't know. But for now, we will just end the road here. That's actually a really cool idea. I kind of want to explore that now. Doing a tunnel. Oh, it's going to mess with my subfloor though. So let's not get too overzealous. Let's just get a road in here for now. And let's just chop these tracks over here. There's an extra road tile in here, isn't there? Damn it. Gotta get rid of this Z fighting. Actually, I'll just... No, this looks fine. Wait, did I delete too much road? No, that's fine. We'll just end it here. For now, it doesn't really matter. We got to figure out how to do this section properly anyway. We'll probably do something interesting. But for now, we'll just do this. And we will start tiling in the floor. Which is... should be blueprint mode somewhere. Apparently the blueprint mode is here. I'm just going to manually start a new blueprint. We'll just manually tile it in. It's no biggie. No, I don't like that. All my blueprints aren't going to align, but so be it. That is perfect. Yup. Now we can blueprint mode and we might just have to fill in some tiles manually. That's fine. We'll just fill in this section manually. Or is this one tile out? No, it's 2 tiles out all the way to the end. I'll just fill this in manually, whatever. Now, our only question is, how do we build 2 constructor buildings, right? So if one constructor building is here, let me just sketch out some stuff. So we're using, this is our blueprint for constructor buildings, this rounded corner thing. So if we want to stay consistent, it'll be something like this. The quarter pipe will end here and then start there, which is aligned to this building with a 2 tile gap in between. So if we put in one building here, and then there should be a 2 tile space here. And that's actually perfect. I'm just trying to decide whether the road should be on this side or this side of the world. Because if the road is on this side, that doesn't really make sense because then there'd be a road here, right? So the road will definitely be on the other side over here, which means we have a whole bunch of unused space over here. Let me just put in the rest of my corners. Now, someone said I can pipette blueprint things. Oh, wow. You can. So if you're in deconstruct mode, and if you do default mode, you obviously pipette a default thing. But if you're in deconstruct mode and you pipette a blueprint, you can actually get a blueprint. That's amazing. Super useful. Thank you for all your tips in the comment section. Keep them coming, please. So there's our first building. I'm going to have to chop some trees to make everything make sense, but... And our second building will probably be on this corner then. Maybe we can just misalign them rather than having everything straight. We can just add an extra spacing over here and then we can figure out something to do with this extra spacing. We can turn it into a mini parking lot or we can do something interesting with that. Let me just see if that fits in the way I want it to. So if we were to do one misaligned, like over here, and we would probably want a 2 tile gap. So it'll only be slightly misaligned. That would be the corner. Let's see if it fits the blueprint. It will be here and it would be here. And it's perfect. It's actually perfect because then that leaves... Wait, why is that? Is this misaligned by 1 tile? Yeah, it is. But that's fine. I'll fix that up. But that leaves a perfect gap of 2 in between here as well. And then these 2 buildings are slightly misaligned, which gives, I guess, some interesting thing to it rather than everything being perfectly aligned. And I think that completes our very first block, right? I think that looks nice. This block is absolutely massive. It's basically the entire size of the station, but that's fine. And then our actual road will be on this side of the train station. So our new block will start from here, but we'll do the new block later. We can focus on this block now. So we've got the basic area set up. Next, we need to figure out how many constructors and levels we might actually need for these materials. So I'm going to quickly do the maths. So the math works out pretty straightforward. The silica machines take 22 to convert to 37.5. So 22.5 to 37.5, and the raw quartz is the inverse of that. So if we look at that, it's 37.5 to 22.5. That means we need 53 silica machines and 32 raw quartz machines. So one of these towers is going to be 3 floors high, and one of them is going to be 2 floors high. So I'm going to start chopping trees now, and then we're going to start implementing. Alright, most of the trees are now chopped. I've left some trees for vibe purposes. So next step we've got to do is modify these blueprints such that they work properly. Now, the blueprints themselves, they are a little bit weird, because if we go over and look at our actual constructor blueprint for our last building over here, we got to figure out what we actually did to it. So on the side, I know I just deleted one of the straight bit and left this curved feature, but on this side, yeah, we deleted the curved bits to leave room for the filler wall. So maybe if I put in my filler wall, it'll make a lot more sense. We also need to define which one we want to do as a 2-story and which one we want to do as a 3-story. Now, given this is currently a 2-story building, no, this is a 4-story building. So maybe we'll do this one 2-story and this one 3-story. So let me start building that up. If we go into blueprint mode now, we should be able to very easily place these. So there's our 2-story building, and then this is going to be our 3-story building. If you're wondering, I've turned off my build costs because I feel like running out of materials is no longer relevant to our playthrough. We're building all this stuff that uses the same amount of materials, but it just saves me the trips back to my old base to grab concrete and whatnot, whatever. Like, it's build cost is no longer relevant to this playthrough, I don't think. So I think I'm going to allow myself that just to expedite the recording of the footage. So we've done that. Now I'm just going to paint the floors in so that we can really, before we put in machines, it's just easier to paint floors here than later. Coated concrete along the outside and grip metal along the inside. That's that one done. Now we're going to go to the other side and we're going to do this room now. All right, now that's done, we're going to put in the filler walls. Aligning these filler walls is no joke. That's definitely not right. Is it here? No, it's one more in, isn't it? You cannot see where this aligns. I think it's like that. Is that right? How do I tell if this is the right alignment? Is there something over here that tells me? I think that's correct. Let's just put it in and see. That looks correct to me. Let's chuck them on top of each other. From the filler walls, we're going to carve out the entrance. Make sure we carve out the right entrance on each level. There we go. That's the filler walls done. And then we need to go and do the walls on the other side. I believe that's it. There and there. Falling into my other building. We'll get an entranceway on each of these sides as well. There we go. That's one building almost set up. Now we got to figure out how to fix these side bits so they are the same. Now I believe, let's just figure out the process. I believe I just delete this without deleting the lights maybe. Or do I just delete the quarter pipe part of it? No. I don't want to delete all the quarter pipes. I just want to delete this. Then we fill it in with glass. No, there's a thing here. How do we do this? I'm trying to figure out what I did here. Got to get it at the right thing, which is there. And then we zoop this up vertically all the way up to the top. Maybe we'll just delete all these quarter pipes for now to not confuse ourselves. Why is this misaligned? Hello? Why is this in the ground? What? Is this one misaligned? No, this one's fine. What? I did something weird on this one. Let me redo the filler wall here. What? What is going on? Is this under the floor? Yeah, it is. Why? The floor is all aligned perfectly. That's fine. Get it off blueprint mode, maybe. Is that now lined up? Can't have that misaligning. Okay, it's lined up right, it's just not lined up horizontally right. God, so annoying. There we go. I think that's lined up now correctly and at the right height. Third time's a charm. Gotta be very patient when building these very complex structures. But there we go. There's the filler wall in correctly this time. Now we've got to figure out this thing. So we need to fill in this. And then we just fill in the glass. Is that right? Let's just figure it out for one floor. And once the glass is filled in, that all looks pretty much correct. This part needs to go and be replaced with this glass. And that's basically how we replace it all. We'll do one together and then I'll just do the rest on my own. So we're basically just deleting everything along here. Then that goes in there. That's fine. And then we just replace this with glass. We replace it. Oop. We replace this. We have to put a foundation here, don't we? Whatever that is goes there. And same over here. Whatever this is goes here. Then we replace this with this glass. We chuck in one of these. Then we replace that with this glass. We follow whatever this is. And then we get rid of that. And we replace that with glass. And I believe that gets these two sides perfectly aligned. And with a little bit of painting, that should look fine. Why does that look weird? I think I'm just tripping. Something looks weird here. Let me just go check my other old one for reference. Alright, I just painted both these sides all the same color to make it one band. Alright, that's fine. So all of this became one color up to the band. And that looks a lot cleaner, I think. This is now frame. Fantastic. I know I made a little change over here for the height of this thing, but I don't know if I'm going to do that right now. We probably will, just for consistency purposes. But we'll see how bad it looks without it. There we go. The entranceways are now carved in, so that's looking fine. Something looks like it's missing over here. Probably the inside wall. So the inside wall needs to be done as well, because that matches this side, right? Yep, that's fine. I think all the visible stuff is now painted. And the only last thing is to move this up one. Now that's easier said than done. Oh, I can do it from here. Perfect. Great. So that's easy to do before I've put in the flooring. There we go. Now it looks like the correct facade. Cool. So I'm going to do this on all of the other... Wait, before we continue, I forgot I got to do this side too. This side is easy. We just remove this, I believe, this entire beam. And then we just fill in what's missing, which is just that. So that gets that side done and looks fine. Oh, I believe we probably just want to make... Oh, what's happening with this though? Let me go check my reference again, what I did on the other side. Yeah, we just got the skirting to come around it. All right, that's fine. Yeah, the skirting comes around it and there is just a gray tile in the middle. It looked a bit weird to me, but that is what we did over there. So we'll keep the same design. So that's an easy modification on this side. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other sides and on this building as well. And then we'll carry on from there. I don't think it's going to be too much of a change, but it is a little bit finicky. So I'll do that off camera. And when it's done, I'll come talk about it. I've put in all the modifications and our two buildings are done. Now I want to do one more thing to break up and distinguish these two buildings, which I think is to invert the colors of one of them. What do you guys think about that? So if we take our color white, which is this custom swash, and we paint this building white, what do we think of that? Is that like too crazy? That way our silica building is going to be white and our other building is going to be black. So I'm going to paint this whole building in white and then we're going to see how that looks. This could just be a horrible, horrible idea, but we will find out. Gotta try new things, guys. Gotta try new things and push our factory's boundaries. Oh man, there's so much geometry, but I think I've gotten that entire building painted white and it doesn't look too bad. We've got a black building and a white building. I think with the white building though, these the alternate color needs to now be chrome. So we'll get that painted in black now, because the gray kind of washes out a bit against the white. We definitely want to get that black. Oh, I missed one here. It's so much geometry that you can just miss so easily while you're painting. But yeah, I think with this, the highlight color being black, it looks a lot better. It could all be one horrible mistake, but we'll see when it all gets colored in. I think it just breaks up the colors a bit, you know, like every building looking completely monotone and consistent just makes the whole factory look a bit bland. But with a little bit of black, a little bit of white, we can break up that look and make everything look a lot better. What do we think of that? See, it's not a bad looking building in isolation. It breaks up the color scheme of our whole factory. So I don't mind that, a little white building on the corner. Cool. Now with that, we're ready to put in our machines, and then we just got to seal this whole thing off with a roof, and then we're done. I think this looks pretty cool. And then we've got to figure out what we want to do with this outside section, which I have an idea for. We might just do our storage and sinks outside, as we did with the factory over there. Wherever we have some spare space, we'll put in a little parking lot, and we will put in some machinery on the outside. I think that looks nice. Maybe we'll give it a black strip up the middle. Too much white. There we go. Yes, I think that looks great. All right, fantastic. Our little city is looking really much more like a city now. Once all the roofs are all done properly, it'll definitely look a lot better. I'm still, like I said, I'm still very hesitant with doing the roofs just because I don't know how tall some of these buildings are going to get. Like, we might have to extend our iron factory, we might have to extend our copper factory. So we're not going to do too much with the roofing right now. But with that, we are ready to put in our machines. Now, we can do one together, but then I'll just fill in the rest myself. Now, if we did our maths correct for this first one that makes the raw quartz, the quartz crystal, it does 37.5 per minute per machine. So 1200 for a full belt of raw quartz divided by 37.5 is 32 machines. So we're going to fit 32 machines in here. Now, each of our constructors is 10, so we'll fit it in like this, and we'll do it the same consistent way we've done it for everything else. Let me just figure out where the legs are meant to go. We'll just figure it out ourselves instead of trying to figure out where the other one went. So, yep, that looks like it's aligned perfectly, kind of. So we'll do it from here, and then we'll shift it this way. So one off the edge, I think is fine. That gives plenty of room on both sides. Yeah, it'll do. And we'll just do another one here. Line that up. And one in. That gives plenty of walkway room down the middle. And there's our first 20 constructors. Then we can fill in the floor here. Just like that. We'll fill in this floor here so we can get our second floor done. So something like this, right? Yep. 2 off the end. So like that. Yep, that looks good to me. Now, because we only need 2 more constructors, it's easier to, instead of building another 10, we'll just leave this half of the floor empty for now, and we'll just overclock some of these. That should give us our full belt of silica. Now we've got to figure out how to get power into this building, and we'll probably just drag it in from this building. The power line would go, say, here. And then from here, we can take it out to here. And then from here, we just take it to here. Why? This doesn't line up. Fun. Alright, well, yeah, so we'll just take it to here then. And it won't be perfectly lined up, but it's close enough. Yeah, it's a straight line. Now we'll take the power into the building. Around here. Then we want the power. Oh, damn, I forgot. I need to update my constructor blueprint so that these things link. My constructor blueprint, for some reason, doesn't have the power bits linked. But that's fine. I'll update the blueprint for our next section. But here we need to take it probably to the end here. Oh, we'll just take it here. It's fine. And we'll just get it going like that. As good as any, right? It's all straight. Then we just connect the power over here. That should all connect very easily. Now we can just set the recipes. So we want this one making silica. And we'll just paste it all in and they should all go yellow. And that's this whole room of silica constructors done. So now we can bring the power upstairs and we'll get it straight up to here. And then we'll get that straight in. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Set the recipes. And just like that, our silica construction room is done. So we can now work on our, sorry, this is our raw, is this meant to be silica or raw quartz? I keep forgetting. But one or the other, 22.5 per minute. I've set all the wrong recipes. It's meant to be our raw quartz factory because there's less machines in this one, but that's fine. I'll fix that up and then I will seal in all the walls, all the floors, and we'll do the same thing for our actual silica factory. Duh, we made this white to denote silica. So yeah, I'll get all that fixed up and when we're done, we will start hooking up the inputs. All the machines are now in, so we've got 53 machines over there. I haven't properly clocked them yet, but I'll do that in a second. Let's work on the belts. So we basically want this to go into the floor to get all the materials out of the subfloor. Or do we? No, that's not how we normally do things. We usually use the front of the buildings. So the front of the building is here. So we normally get it out in like here somewhere. We'll just do it out of this glass. Is that how we do this building? Because it's going to go into here. Huh. How do we normally get stuff in using a lift here? Let me just think about that for a sec because of this curved foundation over here. We might have to do something slightly more interesting. Otherwise, we can just get it through the floor. I think for this one, we'll just get it through the floor. We'll break pattern here because it's... the problem with this constructor building is it's too annoying to get the materials out properly. Oh, I kind of want to use this though. It's just, how would we do that? Like, it'd have to jut out a bit. Either that, or it would have to have a belt to go in here. Let's just try it with a belt. So, if I only want ever, like, one thing here. So, let's just put a floor hole here. And if we put in a wall here with a conveyor lift, like this. Okay, maybe it's a double. Just to line it up directly with this. So that's there. And then we can get the lift going out. Like that. And then we can get a belt going in like that. It doesn't look horrible. And it sits out in the front of our building. I don't mind that. Then we can get that coming in here. And that lines up with that. Get that going in here. I think that looks okay. It looks better when it's snug against the wall, but just coming out here is fine, I guess. Let's see what it looks like snug against the wall. It clips in like that. That is also fine. I actually don't mind that too much. It's a little hard to build, but let's see if we can manage. But basically, it's just that, right? And then it goes through here, which is kind of fine. What if we got rid of this and replaced it with a solid block like this? And then it clips into that solid block a little bit, but it's kind of fine. Trying to figure out different methods of doing this. Try this. Oh, that's not what I want. I want one of these. Half foundation on this side. Then we would need to seal the back with like a wall, I guess. And then this top bit is exposed a little bit, but does that look better? Not really. Overly complicated. And yeah, ideally we'd want something like this and then be able to seal it off somehow. I don't know. We'll just do this. We'll let it clip through here. It doesn't look horrible. I think it looks alright. Looks better snug against the wall than it looks like it's actually part of the factory. I like that. Alright, cool. So we'll leave that one doing that. It's a little bit weird without a border here, but it's fine. Let's trace the rest of the belt, make sure all of this works. We'll do one together and then I'll do the silica one on my own. So the belt comes through here, and then it needs to continue the manifold this way, and then that'll go all the way around there. And once it goes to here, it needs to go upstairs. So we need to put in a sealing hole here. And then we need it to go that way. Then now it's in the subfloor. We need to go to the second level and figure out how that will meet here. So it needs to come out here and go from here. We'll clip that in, make it go that way. Then if we break into the subfloor, we should be able to link these two belts with ease, and that's how we've been doing it the entire time, so we'll stay consistent to that. And one belt to go across. And if we've aligned everything perfectly, it should just be a straight belt. Just like that, and done. That should get all of the raw quartz in. We're going to do something similar on the other side. The good thing about having these two buildings slightly misaligned on purpose is that these two belts will be perfectly misaligned on purpose. They won't run into each other, which is good. That looks fine to me. So if we really hate it, we can just get it coming out of the subfloor. It's no big deal. But same dealios, bring it out here. Oh, damn, this is the wrong way, isn't it? Try that again. We'll do that the right way this time. Like that. Get that going in here. And that's our second belt of raw quartz to process. Fill in that manifold. Get that going into the ceiling. But yeah, same process. So I'm going to go sort that out real quick. And when it's done, I'll come back and talk about it. Alright, with that, all our belts are in, so we can go start working on the actual buffering and bringing the raw quartz into these two factories. So let's go over to our raw quartz area, which is over here. And these two should now be full of raw quartz. And hopefully our train has continued running this whole time and hasn't broken our entire system. Everything looks okay. I don't see any errors with my trains. So let's cut out to the floor over here. Alright. We've got some issues over here, which is where the this is being brought over. So I'm gonna have to cut this belt for a bit. That's the iron belt. So obviously we can't have the iron belts turning where our buffering is gonna be. So we'll figure out how to connect that in a bit. But for now, we'll just dismantle these two iron belts and then we'll reconnect it in a second. Not a big issue. What is a big issue is I'm building in a radiation zone. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how we do this. Then we get our storage container and we put it here like that. Belt that in, put a belt underneath going out. Bring that up to get our double feed and double buffering. Do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get our box in, align it. Get that in, get a belt coming out here. Second lift, and in just like that. Now we should have quartz buffered into these chests. Now we need to reconnect this iron belt back up. So we'll give it a little bit of room and we'll just do it up here then. Right at the halfway point. Actually, we can get it going behind. Behind is probably better. Like that. And then we can get that going up here. And we can probably get that going out a little bit more. And then get that going up here. That looks about right. And then we can get that connected to here. Oh, both of these don't like that. We're going to give it a little bit of room. And then do that. And then do that. I think that's enough room. Give it a nice close follow. That should get the iron flowing again and out of the way. Now we can do the quartz. Now the quartz is going to crisscross something because there's coal over here as well. So we're going to have to actually use elevation. So these are actually done properly. So let's bring them out this way first. Now I might just bring them together first. I know this breaks my rule of when it goes this way, it needs to go to the floor first, but we should follow that rule, right? It's just I have to build so much foundation. I mean, we need the subfloor eventually one day anyway, so might as well build out the subfloor. And I've got free building materials, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. So if I drill out this hole, I should be able to access this lift. And what we want to do is, because it's going left, right, we want that to go against the floor. That way things never crisscross. So I want to turn it out like that. Then we can fill in this floor again. Now I want to bring this over to wherever this is, which is this tile, but like a little bit to the left of it. So like on the edge of this tile, I think. So it's this tile over here somewhere, like this. That way it doesn't crisscross. And then we bring it back up to the ceiling to do this movement. I know it looks a bit weird, but trust me, I think this is how we're going to get our belts not to crisscross in the end. Thank God I left a 3-floor subfloor under here. And these are the 2 belts of quartz we're interested in, and we'll bring them over. Alright, we're close to our railway station now. I don't know why I have a set of walls here. Not very necessary anymore. Now we need to bring our quartz over to this side. Now we've got a belt over here, so we can't just directly bring it out. We have to account for this coal belt, but we can follow it. Let me just figure out the best way to do this. So we can hop the coal belt like this, or then we might as well just take it out from here, right? Up one, that's too tight. Up one, that's fine. And then we'll do the same thing here to hop this belt. We'll go up one. That's too much. I'm using too much of this elevation, I think. Well, we gotta hop it a little bit better. We have to use conveyor poles. That gives you the halfway elevation, I think. So if we do one here, we should be able to hop the belts. Like this. There you go. That's a lot less elevation. And like that. There's our 2 belts of raw quartz. Now we've got to bring it back down to the floor. Once they've hopped. Can't use a lift. We just do a weird turn. Like that. And then that. Looks a bit weird in the subfloor, but again, this is the subfloor. That's its purpose. Not everything here has to look perfect. We just need a nice clean lane for it to go across. Something like this, and now we just got to get these 2 to meet. So this one needs to meet here. So we'll bring this down somewhere a little bit further, and that should be, oh, 1 tile too far. Trying to get this perfect is a little bit difficult. That should be perfect. Yep, there you go. That's a straight belt, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we'll bring it over here, I believe. Should be perfect. There you go, nice and straight. Alright, so that's our 2 belts of raw quartz done. And they should go into our machines and create silica and quartz crystals. Just go verify all of that is working now. Yeah, you can indeed see some of this is flowing now. Fantastic. Go check on our silica as well. Yep, that's flowing through to the silica. Now with the silica, I needed 53 machines, so I need 3 extra machines. So I need to clock 6 of these to 150%. Or I can clock 3 of them to 200%. Doesn't really matter. Now that should give me it should consume a full belt of raw quartz now. Okay. So we've got all our machines working, but we haven't got the output stored anywhere. Now, because raw quartz and silica are both building materials, we do need to go ahead and store those somewhere. And this open area in the middle seems perfect for some storage chests and whatnot. It'll break up the look between these blocky buildings and give some interestingness to it. So I might paint these in and turn them into maybe like a parking lot or something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so let's start paving in our parking lot. Probably from about here, I guess. Maybe not that one. We'll see. We'll do one more tile for the parking lot. Tree is in a very awkward, precarious position, but that's fine. I can't control where the trees are, unfortunately. We need a roadway into the parking lot, and then we can just seal the whole thing with barriers. So we can get our customizer. I'm just wondering what to do with the corner tiles. Let me have a think about this. Let's try using the slow barrier. I think that looks slightly different from the regular barrier. Yeah, I don't mind the low barrier. Otherwise, it'd just be railings, right? So we'll get a low barrier going all the way out, and then we'll turn it over here. And I was thinking we just turn it in like this, and that would cut through the tree. Of course it would. What if we just made it straight from here? It's a little bit too much here. Maybe we'll just get rid of that one, and get rid of that one. That looks fine. Getting a little too ambitious over here. Let's do something like this. I don't mind that. Now we just need some lines to denote the parking spots. What do we do? Center dotted lines. I think we just did factory zone last time, right? Factory zone line. Something like that. That looks like a nice little parking lot on the back of this building. Now, one of these sections is going to be the actual storage and sink. So let's figure that out. We'll use this as an example. So here's our silicon factory. It's all going up the manifold slowly and going to produce a bunch of silica. We've got to merge it all back down and then bring it out somewhere here. It'll probably come out of the subfloor, honestly. So let's just figure out where it naturally comes down. I might do something cleaner for this rather than putting a billion merges in. We'll just try to make it all part of one manifold. Let's see what that might look like. Now the exit of this pipe, the thing is here. So for example, if I were to just drill a hole directly down here, where would that come out on the level below us? Obviously I will need to open up the subfloor once again. Oh damn, I opened it up on the wrong tile. Let's do this tile. Because I need a floor to drill the actual conveyor hole. Yeah, so that one comes out directly here. So maybe we will do it somewhere else. Like here, for example. So it's not just directly in the way. I'm just going to drill out this hole. Although we probably want to line it up. Like that. That should get us a nice lift. And that is going the right direction. Fantastic. I don't care about the way that faces in the subfloor. So I need it to come out a little before we shove it into the lift. So down you go. Into here. And now when it comes out the subfloor, there it is. And ideally we want it to put it into this merger. But this is an output. So we would need to reverse these merges. Now if anyone knows a good way to do this, let me know in the comments. But this is the only way I know how to do it. I'm just gonna have to remove them. You can't control replace the merges that are existing in there. So I don't know if this is going to actually function. So let me just get rid of these central belts and then we can see if these merges actually function. So if I were to do that, I would expect... Wait, what happened here? Merger. Is this the wrong way? I want the merger to go out level. Now, will this function? Absolutely not. So we just have to do everything. Unfortunately. There you go. Now it functions. Alright, so we're going to get rid of all of these belts and just redo the mergers. Not a big job. Probably worth it just to clean up the belts. So we want it to go this way. We'll redo all the belts. It's very easy to get lazy when designing your final factory because you just kind of want to move on to the next thing. I mean, we've been at this for nearly 10 episodes and we're still doing basic materials. But I think it's worth it at the end of the day because you're going to end up with something really nice. But this merger should be able to now come out along here. We'll just drop a center belt here and go straight into this merger now. So that's all together now. And then out of here, we're going to bring out this and it's going to go downstairs once again. So we know there's a belt there. So we're going to cut it here. Let me refill in these floor holes and get that going down now. So that should be able to bring the silica from that top level down here to input into this manifold. Yes, that is working. Now we should be able to come out here and do exactly the same thing. So if we chuck in a thing here, let me go into the roof and just seal this before I forget forever. Now we'll do the same thing here. We'll cut out the hole here and here. Then we'll bring this down into the lift. We'll add another floor hole here. Why is this one perfectly centered and the other one was not? That's super weird. Cut that into here. And then it's going to come down here. And it should go into this merger set, which again is the wrong way. So I need to get rid of all of this. Goodbye incorrectly faced mergers. Hello correctly faced mergers. And there's no building this into the blueprint, by the way, because I want my thing facing the right direction. I don't think there's a way I can build the mergers facing opposite directions in the blueprint, because I need my input facing this way. So it's just going to be like, if I want to do this, it's just going to be a little manual exercise every single time, unfortunately. But look, it's like 30 seconds of work and it cleans up the floor a lot more. Because now we can just get rid of that, bring that out along here somewhere, and bring that into here. Clean that up, and boom, all of our stuff should now be merged into a single belt coming out here, which is perfect because that's right next to the parking lot. So we can drill this out somewhere. We can just get it going directly this way. And then that would go into, what do you reckon, this wall? Then if it's going to come out into this wall, we would probably need a double wall hole, I believe. And then that should go straight into there. And there's our silica belt output. Beautiful. A little bit not perfectly straight, but good enough. Let's see what that looks like from the outside. It looks fantastic. Lots of belts, lots of cool, interesting things happening. Now we can bring this into a... Ooh, should we do the split somewhere here is the question. I believe the split for here, we can put a smart splitter like here somewhere. In fact, we could probably do it on the floor here. So let me change this around a bit. So this is our original smart splitter. This smart splitter is responsible for wherever we need to send the silica for actual usage versus storage. So say for actual usage can go down this way or this way, but for storage it's going to be overflow coming out of this way. And that is still, I believe, the same wall tile, which is here. Oh wait, no, it's perfectly centered now. Amazing. Not get lazy. We'll change this to a one wall conveyor hole. Get that perfectly centered. Now it's perfectly straight for some reason. That's perfect. Now we need to switch this to overflow. So on the right output. That way any unused silica is going to go into overflow, and the overflow is going to go out this way. This way it's going to go into another smart splitter because it needs to, before it goes into storage, it needs to split first. So let's put our splitter down here. I believe it would just be centered something like this. Then it can go up and meet this. Oops, that's the wrong way. We need the input going in there. And then it can go into here. Like that. And there we go. Now we can put a little storage box over here. And that will store this item. Now onto this smart splitter, we want to overflow it again into some sort of sink, right? So we can put the sink right here. Hopefully we've left enough space. Something like that. And there we go. We've got a little bit of machinery out here, which breaks up everything. I like that. So we'll switch the left output to overflow from here. So it'll fill up this box first with silica. And then any additional silica will go into this awesome sink. The awesome sink needs some sort of power. Now we have power pretty close here. Let me go inside to grab it. So from here, we can go directly into the sink. That doesn't look horrible. Or we can bring it out into this corner and then go into the sink. That looks even less horrible. Fantastic. And there's our awesome sink and our thing. We just need dimensional storage now. So we could just put the dimensional depot directly above it. No harm there. Perfect. Now we just need a car here to make it look like a parking lot. Put a nice little truck here. We can face it like a little bit diagonal because it's bad at parking like me. And then we will give it a nice color. What's the swash we haven't used? This light blue one? I think we've used this light blue one before. Let's give it another color. Oh, this lime green truck. There we go. Now there's a truck and now there's some machinery out here, which is pretty cool. I think that is pretty much it. Now we've got more silica into dimensional storage. Wait, so it doesn't upload more based on how many dimensional depots you have? It knows that it's linked? Is that how it works? Let me just I want to test this. So if I add another dimensional depot for silica, no, it knows that it's the same thing. So you can't hack the dimensional depot by adding more in there. We should go over to our old base and get rid of some of the old dimensional depots. So I think it just increases, having more depots increases the upload speed, but not the quantity that's there. So there's 4 stacks in dimensional depot, but having a second dimensional depot, there's still going to be 4 stacks. It'll just get to that 4 stacks faster. That's fair enough. Makes sense. So we can do all of this here, right? Or we can do a second parking lot on the other side. Let's just go have a look at the other side. It should be the identical amount of space over here. And yeah, I think we can turn this into a parking lot as well. Why not? Anything else we have to do here? Maybe get rid of some of these road barriers. And then we want like a little thing here to, I don't know, just to, is there a thing we can create a booth out of? Not really, because we just think. There's no half walls, that's the problem. So we can make like a wall here. And then we can do like a glass here. I guess this can be subfloor access as well. because we're missing some subfloor access. And then we can just do some roof here of some sort. We can open up the floor. Wait, let me redo this side wall door thing. And then that's like subfloor access. And we did this cool little thing with road barriers to get a thing. So let me just put a snapping point here. So you chuck in a snapping point there with one of these things. And then you can get these going. How did I do this last time? I think you can put road barriers on top of one another to get to the height you want. And say that's your height. Maybe one more. And then you can put one of these on the end. Oh no, they're not at the right height anymore. That's fine. But you can do something like this. And then there's like a little entranceway to the parking lot. That feels big. Too high? We go one lower. That feels like the right height now. Now, why is it I could snap these to the other one, but I can't snap it to the end of this one? That's so weird. My other parking lot, I could just snap one of these to the end of it, but that's fine. We can just do something like that. And then that looks like the entrance to a parking lot. Fantastic. Let's paint that in chrome. And I think we're all good then. Gotta get rid of this one. And there you go. Nice and simple maintenance hatch. Can give the top bit a bit of a paint. Oh, there's a parking icon we can put in. Check that out. P, parking. Very good. Alright. I think I'm happy with this part. It looks nice and filled and the trees don't look super in the way. I was going to do something cool with the trees to make it look a lot more intentional, but because they're not sort of centered within anything, it's kind of annoying to do. Like I was going to give them a border box around them, but it's very hard given their positioning. But that's fine. I'm okay with this. So I'm going to do a very similar parking lot on the other side. So something like that, and then we'll get the entrance of the parking lot to be... Doesn't really matter here. You can remove one light. It's fine. Now we use low barriers to border it up. There's our parking lot outline. Now we use our factory zone lines to denote the parking spaces. So we'll do something like this. That one's a tree, but that's fine. Now we need to bring our material out once again. Ideally, I'd like this to be the final... Oops, sorry. We'll work backwards this time. So ideally, I want that to be my final output to go out the window somewhere. Even though it's kind of blocked, but I guess we'll just do it here. That's fine. That means I need to reverse this manifold. So we'll delete the old manifold. And we want everything going that way. Alright, there's a new manifold in, pointed in the right direction. Now we can take it out this way. And point it into the old manifold. And now that should join all of that together. Get rid of some of these clipping poles. Now we want whatever's coming from upstairs to come down here. Now we assume there's a belt over here again. So we need it to be somewhere not super in the way. So probably against this tile somewhere like that. And if I bring this down, it should be perfect. Working backwards is a little bit awkward, but I think it's there. Like that. Fill that in. We'll go upstairs. So we want that coming out here. Oh, it is coming out here. Fantastic. We don't even need to reverse this one. Easy peasy. Bring that down and everything should now flow down into the bottom level. This one's easy. There's only 2 levels of stuff to do. So now all of our quartz is merged together over here. So we need to just bring it out this wall. Now this wall is a little bit taken. So let's put in our smart splitter like here. Get that in there. And then where does this go? It's right in between 2 wall holes. Excellent. We'll probably want this smart splitter somewhere else. Probably on the edge here. Get that across, get that out, and that looks like it's central to this wall, or close enough to central. It's not exactly central, I can tell, but we can do a single conveyor wall here. Then we just belt that into the single conveyor wall, and we're done. That's all of our quartz merged onto one belt going out the wall here, and we do the same treatment over here. So we're going to bring it down. We'll do it from the lift over here. So we'll bring a smart splitter here. Now it is central, so we'll bring it like that. Then we will bring in a lift. Then we bring in a belt. It's not... What did I build this? Don't want to add kinks where we don't have to. Do it one more. Looks a bit better. Am I going insane? Like, build it in the center, you muppet. Smart splitter. There we go. Third time's the charm. Get that into the wall and straight out. Into the smart splitter you go, and we know what's next, which is just the storage box. Now, does a sink fit here is the question. I don't think a sink fits here nicely, so we'll just do it here then. Something like that. I think that looks better. Get that going into the sink when it's overflowing. So the left output is overflow. And boom, we've got everything done. Now we just need to get power to this. So let's get that going up. Say here. That looks like the straightest path. And then we'll get that into the wall. Actually, we can make that a double wall outlet, because this is actually just going through a regular glass thing. Our first double wall outlet of our new factory. And this can just go, I don't know, that's too diagonal for my liking, but we can get that going up here. Just like that, and our sink is now working. And with our sink working, everything should be good. We just need our dimensional storage, and our base has silica and quartz crystals, all done, nice and easy. And that's looking pretty good. We should probably put some sort of vehicle here. Do an explorer, just a tiny little explorer, just to denote that this is a parking lot. And we can do an access hatchway here. It's not really necessary because you can always just go through the floor right here, but I like them, so I'm going to put them in. And come on, they're not really that hard to build, right? Get rid of the floor, get rid of the ceiling, and there you go, nice and easy. Got to get that parking decal on there. No parking. I don't know why. I put a no parking sign there. Now let's just put a parking sign there. Alright. Let's get the road barriers up. Then we'll get rid of these. For some reason the pillars don't go on the end of this road barrier, but that's fine. Yeah, it looks fine. Alright, there's our parking thing done. And all of our materials are now stored. Just got to add the final touches to these buildings. So our entranceways, the lighting probably needs to be consistent. So let's do that one first. We'll only do the lighting on the main entranceways. We won't do the ones on the side. There's our first floor. Second floor. Well, this one only has 2 floors, so that's nice and easy. I'm not going to do the lighting on the other side here, because these are like interior walls. I don't really care about it. Now we're going to do the lighting on this side, because that is the main entrance on this side. Now the lighting doesn't look amazing on the white. Definitely doesn't pop as much as against the black, but it's fine. Are we starting to regret making this white? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I think it looks okay. It gives it a more interesting vibe, rather than everything just being black, and I don't even know where I am in my own factory. Now I know if I'm at the white building, I'm at the silica building. Now before we go do more interesting things, we need to add lighting to all this, because at the moment there's no lighting. Now I have a standard way of doing lighting in here, which is one in the center. There's like 3 rows of lighting essentially. And where's my power plugs? My power plugs is kind of on this side, so face it this way. We'll do one together and I'll just do the rest on my own. So we face it that way, and then we put it in the center. I think it's just one band of lighting right in the center. Something like this. Usually I do it like this just to make it easier to align, but we can align it 2 in, that's fine. And then this one goes along here. Make sure that's aligned. That looks aligned to me. And then one more here. Now it might clip against some of our belts and stuff, but I'm okay with that. That's our lighting in. Now we just got to power it. So we just use this plug. The plug's a bit full at the moment. That's fine. We can upgrade this to a Mark II wall plug. Then we'll get that in there. There. And there. Oh, we forgot to fill in floors, see? We've got to remember to do this stuff. Now you can see the difference from the outside on a level with lights and without lights. Like, it just looks a lot more organized, and you can, it has emissive lighting coming from inside, so it actually looks a lot better as well. So I'm going to do that for these 3 floors and those 2 floors over there. When I'm done, I'll come and talk about it. Alright, there's all my lights in, and our building's looking a lot better now. So we're going to put in the signs because it's a little bit confusing what we're actually producing. I'm actually going to put in a few signs I forgot last episode as well. So we use these signs. So on this building over here, we're going to chuck in two signs. Now that's making iron ingot, and I believe we're making 2,400 of those. I'm just going to grab my format. Now redoing my maths on the other side, we're using up a bunch of these ingots to make steel. So we were trying to output a full belt of steel. So we're using 20 machines. So 20 times 40 is 800 iron ingots are being used at the moment. So for steel, we're using 800. So our availability is now 1,600. Now I'm going to do the same signs on this side. And I realized I did a mathematical mistake when I was making one of these two factories. And I'll give you time to figure out why until I finish putting up these signs. Okay, so let's figure out the output for this first. Now it's consuming a full raw quartz belt. Now the ratio is like 1.6 repeating. So that times 1,200. Well, 1,200 divided by that factor is about 720 raw quartz. So let's go write that down. Nothing is being used, so we can just leave it at that. Sorry, I keep saying raw quartz, I mean quartz crystal. That's not the same format. That's better. All right, cool. So that's 720. Now the issue with my silica is I am an idiot because we are still consuming a full quartz belt, but it outputs more silica, right? It's the same ratio, but it's actually 1.66 times more. So it's actually outputting 2,000 silica, but obviously that can't all be carried on a single belt, and that's why you see all this jamming. But that's fine. Better to overproduce than underproduce. So I'll put in a sign on this side as well. And we'll change the icon to silica. Now I'm going to write in here that we're producing the amount that we are saying, even though the manifold isn't currently set up to support that. So we're actually outputting 2,000 silica. Well, this factory can output 2,000 silica. We just need to set up the belts appropriately to make it do that. All right, that's pretty much it. We just need to seal up the roof so it doesn't look so janky. We'll do something simple as usual because we still don't know what we're actually going to be doing with this. So we'll probably just do a 2-meter foundation, probably is best. We just do a 2-meter foundation to seal up that roof. Wow, how did I do this? Might need some 2-meter half foundations to help out. Trying to figure out how to seal my roof off. Thought it would be easy, but apparently it's not. Nope, that's not right. Does that create any clipping? Nope, that seems to be fine. Now we need this over here. Oh god, needs a 2-meter version of that. There is a 2-meter version of that thing, isn't there? Outer extension corner. Good. Now we should be able to continue this pattern all the way across. Again, not doing anything too complicated on my roof because I don't know if we're going to need to do other stuff later. Once we start putting together our assemblers, we might find very quickly that we may need... oh god, what are you guys doing? That we may need to extend some of these basic constructor factories vertically very quickly. So we just want to do a very basic roof just to make it not look so terrible. Now to make this roof look nice, I think we need to paint it black. Yeah, a little bit of trim goes a long way. We don't even need to seal off this section, do we? This is a carbon steel finish? I meant to be putting a chrome finish here. Oh my god, have I been painting some stuff carbon steel and some stuff chrome? That's not good. It's a very subtle but obvious difference, especially when it's like sitting up against other carbon steel stuff. There we go, that's a lot better. Now it's the same color. Fantastic, our roof is now sealed off. I'm actually missing some here. Yeah, this is all the right chrome finish, good. Alright, that's one roof sealed off. We'll seal off this other roof as well, just because it looks terrible as it is. Start off with some 2-meter foundations. Some half foundations on the side. That's not right. Start it off here. 2-meter half foundations on the side here. And then we wrap it around the building. And fantastic, that's our roof's done, and pretty much that's all of the buildings done. Now we can just add some little detailing somewhere. Now I was thinking, since these two buildings are a little bit linked, why don't we do maybe like a sky bridge from here to here? That's not that far, and I think it might look nice. The sky bridge is made out of frame foundation. So we did something like this, but we want it to be shifted in probably halfway, like that. That way it'll be perfectly centered in between these two, like this. Then that creates a little sky bridge between these two, and we just fill it in with some railings. That might look nice. You know I'm a big fan of my sky bridges. To add a little bit of something, you know, a little bit of interesting architecture when you're looking at it from different sides and stuff. That looks pretty cool. Now it needs probably some sort of pillar. And maybe one here. Nah, the metal looks a bit too crazy. We'll use a small frame pillar instead. Make it look less thick, you know? Probably needs a small beam support at the bottom of this. Shouldn't these line up perfectly to one another? I don't understand. It very confuses me. Okay. That looks better, I guess. There we go. A little bit of support for the sky bridge, so it does look like it's floating in midair. And I think that looks pretty nice. Now you can get from this side to this side. There's no particular reason for this because we haven't really designed our factory for walkability because I've just been flying around, so screw trying to make everything walkable and have stairs. Like, if you think about it, how do you even access the second floor if you can't fly in my factory? You literally can't, because there's no lifts or elevators or anything. Like, we could add, you know, stuff to do that, but that just seems like another whole different headache. But these are just for a little bit of aesthetic touch. So when you look in the back over here, it looks slightly more interesting, I guess. There's a little crosswalk over this side. And yeah, now you got your parking lot on this side. Pretty happy with that. I think that's pretty much it for this factory. Now, is there a reason why all of this has stopped? No power. I've obviously dismantled something or other. Where did I accidentally cut the power? Well, these are connected to here. Did I cut the power in between here? I definitely cut the power in between here, didn't I? Oops, my bad. Anyway, continue on. Make sure everything is working before we sign off the episode. I believe we're all good. Why has raw quartz here stopped? We've run out of basic materials. Oh no. That's probably just a supply issue with the train, right? Let's just make sure the train is actually working. That's not my raw quartz train leaving that way, is it? Hope not. There's heaps of raw quartz in here. What are you guys complaining about? No idea what it's complaining about. But yeah. I guess our transfer rate according to these platforms isn't very high, so that's fine. But again, like I said, one day when throughput becomes the issue, I will add the appropriate amount of trains to get the supply going at the right volume. But at the moment, it's looking all good. We've got plenty of quartz crystals and stuff now, so we're happy with that. Running out of Mercer spheres, but that's a problem for another episode. This episode, we are content with what we've built, and we'll leave it here. I think next episode, we're finally ready to do some assembler work. I know I've been saying that at the end of a few episodes right now, but new stuff keeps coming up. The reason why we ended up doing quartz is because I was looking at what I need for EM control rods. And the best recipe I found, instead of using AI limiters and 3 stators to make 2, we can make twice as fast using high-speed connector. And then if we look at high-speed connector, we need these to turn into, we need circuit boards to turn into high-speed connectors one way or another, whether we use this recipe or this recipe. But because this one uses silica, this uses quite a lot of silica, or we can use quick wire and cable instead. It doesn't really matter which one we do. And that one requires silica, so we might use it. But either way, this one, the best recipe I found is probably this one over here, which is the fastest assembler production, and that uses silica as well. So I don't know. We'll decide next episode what we end up doing. We might end up doing plastic. I don't know. Maybe that's too much silica. I'll have to do the maths and figure that out, because I probably don't want to use all the silica in this factory to make circuit boards and stuff. I want to reserve a little bit for aluminum production. I do want to reserve a little bit for aluminum production, so we'll see where we go to next episode. If you don't want to miss out, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.